This morning we're planting young grapevines in this, what I call a micro vineyard. Its spacing is 4 foot between vines and 4.5 feet between rows. It's going to have about 325 vines planted in it, and that'll be pretty much enough fruit at maturity for a barrel of wine. You can see that they're digging holes approximately 18 inches in diameter and about 18 inches or 24 inches deep. So that way there's a lot of friable loose soils that are going to be used for the rooting of the vines that we're putting in today. This vineyard has kind of evolved from planting a different spacing and configuration, and we actually interplanted or interspaced the rows, and we're going to make up those every other rows with the addition of some lime and some gypsum as soil amendments on this particular site. And the gentlemen are going to mix basically a 50-50 ratio, and they'll put a shovel full of product in the rows that need it. And what I'm putting in the holes is a little packet of mycorrhiza that we usually plant with all our plants. It's a kind of a little bit of a starter. We call them tea bags, actually. In our planting this morning, we found an active gopher site, so we've got 2 traps over here, and we'll see if we catch gophers. Gophers can be detrimental to grapes, especially young vines, eating the roots, eating the stalk, and we spend a lot of time trapping versus poisoning. That way we know they're dead, and we're not hurting other forms of life in secondary poisoning that might feed on a dead gopher. When the vines are grafted and grown at the nursery level, they'll put on tags, pre-printed tags that they do with the variety, the clone, the rootstock of what is here for these containers. Much like when you go to the nursery to buy tomatoes, you'd like to know that you're getting Early Girl and not Beefmaster or some other particular tomato you did not want to invest in, and this is the same here. So we'll take, at time of planting, we're going to take these tags off, because if they're left on as these vine trunks grow, they'll get girdled. So we'll actually remove these tags so they're not in the planting process at all. In this potting mix, you see some well-defined root structure, and here's a young rootlet right here, this white root at the end of the pin that is elongating and growing, as well as a young white root tip here. And there are some pretty strong roots in this root mass in this potting soil. One of the key things for planting of grapevines such as this, that we want to have maybe 4 or 5 inches of the ground surface should be about where the pen is, so that way we don't get sign roots coming above from our sign or the graft here. And so once these are placed in the hole at the right level, soil is pushed up against the vines and a slight tamping of the soil to exclude any of the unwanted air pockets. And it's pretty much the same as if you were planting roses or fruit trees or even tomatoes for that matter. You want to just try to get the dirt in there as best as possible. A little bit of tamping with the foot. One of the things that was demonstrated here is keeping the trunk relatively close to the bar, and having this shoot very close to here, so as it grows, we'll be able to train it up the training rod itself. And you can see it's got good height from the graft union, which is right over my fingers, to the soil level. And then we're going to go ahead and place a carton around that vine to help protect it from the feeding of rabbits and other varmints that might be around. And just a little dirt at the bottom to help support that. Now, one advantage to these kinds of cartons, if we have a high heat coming up, we can actually fold these in and create a little roof for extra protection. And that keeps the direct sun and the direct heat off of them for a while. And even if they don't stay completely closed, it's not usually a problem, but it provides a little extra protection. This straw right here is what we use for marking out the vineyards. So we have a what we call marking chains, and we can draw them very tight and very straight, and then we just use a straw to make that position so we know where the training rod's going to go or the support stakes. Again, just utilizing products that we already can get our hands on relatively easy. We're very fortunate to have the opportunity to be able to do some micro vineyards, backyard vineyards, if you will. Sometimes it's a real nice thing to do, especially if they're fairly close to our other sources of vines that we have to manage. It's not like it's out of the way. And have a great opportunity to be able to express our ideas in uniformity, whether it's the posts, and all these posts were driven in by hand. Everything here is by hand. And just to maintain this higher level of vines that you see going in this whole vineyard block, and we had to do that consistently with a lot of our other vineyards as well. It's a real bonus for us to be able to do these little vineyards. A lot of other vineyard management companies don't even want to waste their time in handling such a small adventure, if you will. I find it a challenge and a reward at the same time. And if a client is willing to want to have a vineyard in his backyard, so be it. We'll put that vineyard in for them. And we do large vineyards too. Just down the street, later on this summer, we're going to be putting in 12 acres of brand new stakes, posts, hose, wire, vines. And when that time comes, we'll be filming that at various phases and put the whole thing together as a unit.